All right, so today we are diving deep into Philadelphia.
Philly.
Philly, you got it. But
Yeah.
I think most of our listeners have probably at least heard of Philadelphia.
Yeah.
So we're going to skip over all the, basic tourist traps
Right.
and really get into
The nitty-gritty.
the nitty-gritty,
Yeah.
the stuff that will help you plan a really epic trip to Philly.
Definitely.
One that makes you feel like you actually lived there for a bit and not just
Yeah.
visit.
Not just like a quick,
Yeah.
checkbox of all the things.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think one thing that's really cool about Philadelphia is just how much history is packed into this one city.
Yeah. It's incredible.
Yeah.
It's where the Declaration of Independence was signed. It's
Yeah.
where the founding fathers, were debating all
Yeah.
these really important.
It's like you can practically feel the revolution in the air still
we do.
today.
Yeah.
And speaking of revolutions, I bet you didn't know that City Hall was once the tallest building in the world.
That's right.
We'll get to that later.
Yeah.
But first, we have to at least touch on a few iconic landmarks.
Yeah, of course.
So let's talk about the Liberty Bell.
The Liberty Bell.
Everyone knows it.
Yeah.
Everyone's seen it.
Right.
But what's interesting is I think a lot of people kind of gloss over the crack.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the whole point.
Right. Like it's almost as if it needed that crack
Right.
to become as, symbolic as it is.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different theories about how it actually cracked.
Right.
But, one is that it cracked ringing for the death of Chief Justice John Marshall,
Oh, wow.
adding,
That's a whole other
a whole other layer.
to that story. I never even thought about that.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're in Philly. You've seen the Liberty Bell. You've taken your selfie with the crack.
Yep.
Where do we go next?
Well, you're probably going to head over to the Rocky Steps.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to
It's like a pilgrimage.
run up those steps.
Yeah, like a movie buff
Yeah.
pilgrimage.
But they're also right next to the Philadelphia Museum of Art.
Yes.
And I kind of like that juxtaposition.
Yeah.
You're climbing these steps.
You're literally climbing to something great.
Yeah. You're working for it.
Yeah.
So what's the pro tip for that? Early morning
Definitely go early.
Okay.
Yeah. You want to beat the crowds.
Right.
And then, head inside for some art appreciation.
Art appreciation.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
What else is there in that historic area?
Well, you can't go to that area and not stop by Independence Hall.
Right.
Like, that's where it all went down.
Yes. The Declaration of Independence.
Yeah.
The Constitution.
You've read about it in books, but actually standing in that room, you can really
I bet.
feel the weight of history.
Oh, yeah.
And here's another tip. Free tickets are actually required from March through December.
Oh, wow.
So book those online in advance.
That's a great tip because I'm the kind of person that shows up and was like, oh, shoot,
Yeah,
I need a ticket.
totally.
Okay, so we've had our history lesson.
Yes.
I'm getting hungry.
Me too.
Let's talk about food.
Yes. Let's talk about food.
What is more iconic to Philadelphia than the Philly cheesesteak?
The cheesesteak.
But even more than that, there's the Reading Terminal Market,
Oh, yeah.
which has been around since the late 1800s.
It's amazing. It's like
I
this.
think I have some good stories.
Oh, yeah. Like stepping into a time capsule.
Well.
It's laid out like a classic European market, but with that
Okay.
distinct Philly vibe.
I like that.
Yeah,
So Reading Terminal Market is at the top of our list.
definitely.
Then we got to talk about cheesesteaks.
Cheesesteak.
That's
It's like the rivalry.
the
It
rivalry.
never ends.
As a local, do you have a favorite or are you just
As a true Philadelphian, I do have my favorite.
right? We
Well,
can't.
I think the beauty of the cheesesteak is that there's one out there
Okay.
for everybody.
Yeah.
So just try as many as you can.
Yeah.
Figure out what you like.
That's a good approach.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've done our iconic landmarks.
Yes.
We've talked about cheesesteaks.
Of course.
What else is there to do in Philadelphia?
Well, we've covered the must-sees, but Philly's also a city full of hidden gems.
Oh, okay. I like that.
Yeah, let's get into those.
So let's venture off the beaten path a bit and explore some of those
Yes,
local favorites.
I'm ready.
Okay, great. One spot that often gets overlooked is Benjamin Franklin Parkway.
Okay, another parkway.
I know what you're thinking,
Yeah.
another parkway.
Yeah.
But this isn't just any parkway.
Okay.
This one was inspired by the Champs-Élysées in Paris.
Ooh la la.
Yeah.
Fancy. So is it good for like walking around, biking?
Yeah, perfect for a stroll or a bike ride.
Okay.
Even a picnic.
All right, I like it.
Yeah. But what really makes this parkway stand out to me is that it has this connection
Yes.
to the Lewis and Clark expedition.
Yes. Meriwether Lewis, of the Lewis and Clark duo
What?
actually prepared for his journey right here in Philadelphia.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
That's
He stocked up on supplies here.
wow.
Even had his celestial navigation instruments calibrated in the city.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
All right, so Benjamin Franklin Parkway.
Mm.
We can pretend to be Lewis and Clark.
Exactly.
What's next?
Well, right across the parkway is the Franklin Institute.
Okay.
And this isn't just your average science museum.
Right.
It's a wonderland of interactive exhibits.
Ooh, I like interactive.
You can walk through a giant beating heart.
You had me a giant beating heart.
Yeah.
I'm sold.
It's very cool.
Okay.
You can experience a simulated earthquake,
Oh, wow.
explore the vastness of space
Oh,
at the Fells Planetarium.
So it's for adults and kids, basically.
It's really for everyone.
Perfect. Okay, so we've done history, we've done art,
Yeah.
we've done science,
Yes,
we've done cheesesteaks.
of course.
What else is there?
Well, no trip to Philly would be complete without experiencing the waterfront.
The waterfront.
Yeah, the Delaware River waterfront.
Okay.
It really captures the essence of Philadelphia's connection to the water.
All right, so what's down there that we should check out?
Well, one spot you're going to love is Race Street Pier.
Okay.
It's this serene oasis right on the water,
Nice.
perfect for taking a break
Okay.
from the hustle and bustle of the city.
I like that.
And they have these awesome wooden benches shaped like waves
Okay.
where you can just relax and watch the boats go by.
That sounds very peaceful.
It is.
Okay, Race Street Pier.
Yes.
Now, what if I want a little more action?
Well, if you're into art, you'll want to check out the Delaware River Trail.
Okay.
It's not just a bike path, it's also like a canvas for
Right.
amazing murals and public art installations.
So I can bike, I can walk, I can rollerblade and look at art.
It-
I like it. And enjoy the views of the city skyline.
Okay, and what about for a history buff like myself?
Oh, well, you can't miss the Independent Seaport Museum.
All right, tell me about it.
It's home to relics, artifacts, and photographs that tell the story of Philadelphia's maritime history.
Okay.
You can even step aboard historic ships like the cruiser Olympia,
Wow.
which was Admiral Dewey's flagship from the Spanish-American War,
Okay.
and the submarine Bacuna,
Okay.
which is a World War II vessel.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got art, we've got history, we've got beautiful views.
Yes.
Now we have to talk about
City Hall.
City Hall.
City Hall.
It's like this massive,
It's such a presence in the city.
it's hard to miss.
Yeah.
Yeah, so tell me about it.
It's crafted from over 88 million bricks.
88 million.
88 million bricks. And it was once the tallest building in the world.
Wow. What's the view like from the top?
Oh, it's incredible.
Yeah.
You have these panoramic views of the entire city.
Okay, are there tours? Yes, you can take an elevator to the observation deck,
Awesome.
and they offer guided tours where you can
Sure.
learn about the history and the architecture.
Okay, so City Hall is how we're going to end this part of our deep dive.
Yes, but don't worry,
The-
we've got plenty more to uncover in part 2.
Ooh, I'm intrigued.
We'll dive into Philadelphia's vibrant art scene,
Okay.
explore some of its unique neighborhoods, and maybe even indulge in a few more cheesesteaks along the way.
All right, I'm there. Welcome back to our Philadelphia deep dive.
Okay.
So we've hit the landmarks, we've had our cheesesteaks.
Yeah.
Now I want to talk about art.
Arc.
Philly has a really cool art scene.
It does.
But I'm not just talking about museums and galleries. I'm
Right.
talking about art that like spills out onto the streets.
Yes,
Like the murals.
the murals, they're incredible.
Philly has a remarkable collection of murals.
Yeah.
Thanks in large part to the Mural Arts Philadelphia program.
Okay.
They've been creating these massive public artworks for over 35 years.
Wow. And the result is, you know, a city that's literally painted with stories.
Yeah, it's like you can be walking down a street and all of a sudden you
Yeah.
turn a corner and boom, there's this huge mural
Yeah.
that's telling you about the history of the neighborhood.
Exactly.
Or like the people who live there.
They're not just pretty pictures.
Right.
They're these really powerful visual narratives
Yeah.
that reflect, you know, the soul of the community.
So for someone who's never been to Philly before
Yeah.
and wants to see the murals,
Yes.
where do we send them?
Well, we mentioned the Magic Gardens earlier,
Right.
and that's definitely a must-see.
Yeah.
Isaiah Zagar's work is mind-blowing. It's
Yeah.
this mosaic wonderland.
It's very cool.
Yeah. But beyond that, I would recommend exploring neighborhoods like Northern Liberties and Fishtown.
Okay.
They're both known for their vibrant street art scenes.
Now, is there a way to kind of get the stories behind these murals?
Oh, absolutely.
Like, are there guided tours?
The Mural Arts Philadelphia program offers these fantastic guided tours
Perfect.
led by knowledgeable guides
Oh,
who
yeah.
can share, the stories behind the murals,
Right.
the techniques that were used to create them,
Yeah.
and the impact they've had on the community.
Okay, so guided mural tour is on my to-do list.
Yes.
Now, we talked a little bit about the Philadelphia Museum of Art before.
Yes.
But obviously, it's a lot more than just the Rocky Steps.
Oh, yeah. This is a world-class museum
Right.
with a collection that spans, centuries and cultures.
So where do you even begin?
Well, the museum has a great website
right.
with suggested itineraries based on your interests.
Right.
But, if you're a fan of Impressionism,
Okay.
there's one collection you can't miss, the Barnes Foundation.
I've heard of the Barnes Foundation, but I
Yeah.
don't really know what it is.
Okay, so imagine a collection so valuable,
Okay.
so meticulously curated,
Right.
that it was once shrouded in secrecy,
Really?
only accessible to a select few. That's the Barnes Foundation.
Okay.
Dr. Albert Barnes, who was a wealthy art collector, amasses this incredible collection of Impressionist and Post-Impressionist masterpieces,
Okay.
works by Renoir, Cézanne, Matisse, Picasso, you name it.
Wow. Why was it so secret?
Well, Dr. Barnes had very specific ideas about how his collection should be displayed and experienced.
Okay.
He believed in the power of art to educate and inspire.
Yeah.
And he wanted to create an environment where people could engage with the art on a very personal level.
Okay.
So he established the Barnes Foundation in his home in Marion, Pennsylvania,
Right.
with very strict rules about access and photography.
So how did it become open to the public?
Well, after years of legal battles and controversy,
Yeah.
the Barnes Foundation moved to a new purpose-built facility in Philadelphia in 2012.
Okay.
The new building replicates the layout and atmosphere of the original Marion home.
That's nice.
Yeah, so it ensures that Dr. Barnes's vision is preserved,
Yeah.
while also making the collection accessible to a wider audience.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got murals, we've got museums, we've got secret art collections.
Yes.
What else?
Well, Philadelphia is also a city of neighborhoods, each with its own distinct personality and artistic flair.
All right.
And one neighborhood that really captures the city's creative spirit is South Philadelphia.
South Philly.
Yes.
Home of the Italian market.
All the food.
The Italian market is a feast for the senses.
Yeah.
A place where you can find everything from, fresh produce and homemade pasta
Oh, yeah.
to aromatic cheeses and freshly baked bread.
You making me hungry.
Yeah, and amidst all those culinary delights,
Yeah.
you'll also find a thriving art scene.
So it's more than just food down there.
Oh, much more.
Okay.
Yeah, South Philly is also home to a vibrant community of artists, musicians, and makers.
Cool.
You'll find galleries showcasing local artwork,
Okay.
studios where artisans are creating unique crafts,
Right.
and music venues hosting live performances. So you can just wander and soak it all up.
Exactly.
That sounds fun.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got the energy of South Philly,
Yes.
but Philly has a lot of different neighborhoods.
It does.
Any others we should know about?
Absolutely. If you're seeking a more laid-back atmosphere, I would head to Chestnut Hill.
Chestnut Hill. Okay.
It's a charming neighborhood with tree-lined streets, historic mansions, and independent shops.
So it's like a little quieter.
Yeah, it feels like a world away from the hustle and bustle of downtown.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
When I hear Chestnut Hill, I think like cozy bookstores,
Yes,
cute little cafes,
you're spot on.
maybe a hidden garden or two.
Chestnut Hill is a haven for book lovers,
Right.
with several independent bookstores tucked away on its charming streets.
Perfect.
And if you're a fan of gardens, you won't want to miss the Morris Arboretum.
Tell me about the Morris Arboretum.
It's a stunning 92-acre horticultural wonderland.
92 acres.
92 acres.
Wow. That's a lot of plants.
It is. It's a lot of plants.
Okay, so we've got South Philly, we've got Chestnut Hill.
Yes.
What else?
Well, if you're looking for a neighborhood with a bit of an edge, I would head to Fishtown.
Fishtown. Sorry.
It's been undergoing a renaissance in recent years, attracting young artists, musicians, and entrepreneurs.
So it's like the up-and-coming.
Yeah, it's the place to be if you want to discover the next big thing.
I like it.
Yeah.
Okay, now what if I want something a little more traditional?
If you're a fan of theater, music, and dance, I would head to the Avenue of the Arts.
The Avenue of the Arts.
Yes.
That sounds fancy.
It is. It's this vibrant stretch of Broad Street
Okay.
that's home to some of Philadelphia's most prestigious cultural institutions.
Like what?
Well, you've got the Kimmel Center for the Performing Arts,
Okay.
which is a stunning architectural masterpiece that hosts a variety of performances,
Yeah.
from Broadway shows to classical music concerts.
Cool.
And then you've got the Academy of Music,
Right.
which is Philadelphia's oldest opera house,
Okay.
and the Merriam Theater,
Right.
which is a beautifully restored historic theater that presents a mix of Broadway tours and other performances.
So if you like the performing arts,
Yes,
that's the place to go.
that's the place to be.
Now, we can't talk about Philly art without talking about the Mummers Parade.
The Mummers Parade.
I've heard of it, but I don't know anything.
Okay, so imagine a New Year's Day celebration unlike anything you've ever seen before.
Okay.
That's the Mummers Parade.
Right.
It's a Philadelphia tradition
Wow.
that dates back over a century.
Wow.
It's this colorful and boisterous spectacle
All right.
featuring elaborate costumes,
Yeah.
music, and performances.
So what's the history there?
Well, the Mummers Parade actually has its roots in ancient Roman and Scandinavian traditions.
Really?
Yeah, brought to Philadelphia by European immigrants.
Wow.
And over the years, it's evolved into this uniquely Philadelphian event,
Yeah.
a celebration of the city's spirit and creativity.
It sounds like a party.
It is a party.
Okay, so we've done a lot of art.
We've done a lot of art.
We've done a lot of neighborhoods.
Yes.
Now I think it's time to get into some history.
History.
Philly is like,
It's a history buff's dream come true.
oh yeah, overflowing with history.
Yeah, it's where America was born.
It's where it all began.
It's where it all began.
All right, welcome back to the Deep Dive. We're finishing up our exploration of Philadelphia. We've covered a lot of ground already: history, art, food. But before we send you off to pack your bags, there are a few more things you should know about Philly.
Definitely. And one thing that might surprise people is Philly's passion for sports.
Sports. Okay, so I'll admit I'm not the biggest sports fan. So what's the big deal with sports in Philadelphia? Why does it matter?
Well, it's more than just about the games themselves, It's about the connection between the city and its teams.
So it's like a shared experience.
Exactly. When the teams are doing well, the whole city celebrates together.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So let's say I'm in Philly during baseball season, and I don't manage to get tickets to a Phillies game. Are there other ways to experience that sports energy?
Oh, definitely. You can check out the Philadelphia Sports Hall of Fame. It's full of stories and memorabilia.
So I'm picturing like walls of signed jerseys and old photos.
Yes, and trophies and exhibits dedicated to legendary players.
That sounds pretty cool, even for someone who's not a huge sports fan.
It is, because in the end, sports are all about stories. Stories of triumph and defeat and teamwork, and those stories resonate with everyone.
That's a great way to put it. Now, shifting gears a little bit, I know Philadelphia has a strong connection to history, but what about literature?
Well, Philly actually has a really vibrant literary scene.
Really? I have to admit, literature isn't the first thing that comes to mind when I think of Philadelphia.
I get that. But for book lovers, there's one place you absolutely have to visit: the Rosenbach Museum and Library.
Okay, tell me more about that. What makes it so special?
Well, it's home to a truly incredible collection of rare books, manuscripts, and art. We're talking about a first folio of Shakespeare's plays, a handwritten manuscript of Ulysses by James Joyce.
Whoa, wait, a first folio of Shakespeare? Like the real deal?
The real deal, and original illustrations by Maurice Sendak. It's amazing.
Wow. I can only imagine what it must be like to see those things in person.
It's pretty special. And beyond those famous pieces, they also have exhibits about the history of books and writing.
So it's not just for, like, super serious scholars.
Not at all. Anyone who loves books and stories will find something to enjoy there.
Okay, that's going on my list. Now, I've heard that Philadelphia is a very walkable city.
Absolutely. You can really get a feel for the different neighborhoods by exploring on foot.
What are some of your favorite walking routes?
Well, I love walking along the Delaware River waterfront, start at Penn's Landing, where the city's founder first arrived, and just stroll along the river. You get amazing views of the Benjamin Franklin Bridge.
That sounds lovely. Any other suggestions?
Of course. You can't miss walking through Old City. Start at Independence Hall and just wander through the cobblestone streets.
It's like stepping back in time.
Exactly. And be sure to check out Elfreth's Alley. It's the oldest residential street in America.
So much history. Okay, last question. What if I want a more, relaxed kind of walk, maybe with some window shopping?
Then head to Rittenhouse Square. It's a beautiful park, surrounded by cafes and shops, perfect for a leisurely stroll.
I'm sold. All right, I think we've covered pretty much everything.
I think so.
We've explored the history, the art, the food, even the sports.
And don't forget those hidden gems.
Of course, we've given you everything you need to plan an amazing trip to Philly, so get out there and experience it for yourself.
And be sure to tell us all about it.
We can't wait to hear about your Philadelphia adventures.